Joining the conversation right now, our COVID-19 chat is former civil rights attorney James Cook. Welcome back to BNC Live, sir. He's here to give his legal advice and analysis on the new mask guidance. Now, here's a full response from a grocery union. Now, it says, in quote, in states, today's CDC guidance is confusing and fails to consider how it will impact essential workers who face frequent exposure to individuals who are not vaccinated and refuse to wear masks. We've seen that all over social media. End quote. What are your thoughts about that, James?
Well, so first of all, I just want to say I agree with everything that the doctor says, and I just want to reiterate and reincorporate it into my comments. So here's the thing. This is the way you got to look at it. Is number one, just on a personal level, yeah, I was confused last night. Like, it's good news to hear that we can take off our masks, but the first thing I thought is, okay, well, the people who aren't vaccinated, who are need to wear masks, how are they going to enforce that? I mean, really, you're going to walk up to people and ask them for their cards, and will they be arrested if they don't? So that's on a personal level. The legal construct for looking at this is, it's the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment is what allows the interplay between the state and the federal government. The 10th Amendment grants states the ability to pass laws for the health, safety, and welfare of its citizens. So under the 10th Amendment, even if there is a federal law, and in this case, we're talking about a federal guideline, even if that is the case, your state can pass much more, restrictive measures or least restrictive measures.
And James, I want to pick up where you left off, because we're probably about a minute and a half out, and I got a couple more questions I want to try to squeeze in. I want to talk about discrimination. I think that's where you were actually going with some of different municipalities and states putting their own restrictions in place. I know I've personally seen people, Florida has been opened up for a while now, where you don't have to wear a mask depending on what county you're in or what store you go in. So can this possibly lead to discrimination for Black folks? Let's say we go into a store and we decide not to wear a mask, but we see other folks without a mask, but we're being told to put one on. What legal right do we have in that situation?
Yeah, so again, and that's when we're talking about a constitutional situation, or we're talking about, where somebody can enforce, they can bring a claim for discrimination under a state statute. So if that happens, and I think we're going to see that happen. In fact, I would imagine that we'll see one of the first test cases possibly in Florida. That seems to be the place where all the controversy is taking place right now.
Battleground state. And Dr. Aber, what do you say to that? I know you mentioned earlier, you just said, listen, Black people, you need to continue to wear a mask because we are the ones that are dying at higher rates than any other group of people. Do you want to piggyback off of that?
Yeah, this whole concept of requiring this vaccine passport when there really is no standardized way of making sure that passport is official and something that's documented in a healthcare system in any way is ludicrous. I mean, you can. I mean, my passport is signed by a nurse. Okay. What if it's signed by a doctor? What if it's signed by the president? It doesn't really matter because I can get one anywhere. So you cannot in any way try to enforce that. And that would even not, I mean, I'm no lawyer, but James right there will tell you, you can't, that's not going to hold up in court. Hey, I got my vaccine passport from my girl over at the crib. That's not even going to happen. It's not going to happen. So all it's going to do is make it so that Black people are confused and thinking that we can go to these giant super spreader events because the CDC said it's okay, and then you have some type of outbreak with a mutant that has 12 mutations on it, including the Brazilian, the South African, and 2 of the California strains that caused so much death and destruction in California for Thanksgiving and New Year's and Christmas. And then what happens? Then Black folks are all, we're all upset again because we're the ones dying again. We cannot allow this to happen in our community because we're losing our culture. It's not just people, we're losing our culture because of this, and we cannot allow this to happen.
All right, Attorney Cook, I heard you trying to squeeze something in. You got like 5 seconds if you can possibly do it within that time.
I agree with everything Dr. Herbert said. That 10th Amendment will definitely, You know what, Dr. Herbert? We just got to be ready to sue people. That's it.
Well, I'll have you two.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Bear. It's okay. I'll have you two on speed
Yeah, Dr.
dial.
Bear, I'm sorry. But yeah, we just, like I said, we got to be ready to sue.
All right. Dr. Bear, Attorney James Cook, always a pleasure having you both. Enjoy your weekend, and we look forward to welcoming you back on BNC Live.